Everett Jasmer is the soul of USA-1. He asks his team to drive hard to win. He fights for his convictions, much like the driver's battle for victory. But Jasmer himself, a tired and worn denim, long hair, beard, and cowboy hat, does not look like the finger-wagging, confident white knights that do the driving. If his drivers look like good guys, Jasmer looks like a bad guy. That's part of the rebel in him.
The image that the USA-1 team portrays is very contrasting to the image that I portray. The denim, the blue jeans, denim shirts, the cowboy hat, which has really no particular meaning to it. I used to wear, when I started in the business, I had a reputation for wearing a denim engineer hat. Some of the early pictures of the monster truck, I was wearing that, but somewhere along the line I just picked up on the Western hat, and I've been wearing it ever since. I have always been a bit of a rebel, I guess. I was told one time that I would never ever accomplish anything in this life unless I got a haircut and a shave and wore a business suit. And I guess it's been a situation where if somebody tells me that I can't do something, then I'm going to do it. And I remember when I was a kid, I wanted a beard, and this thing has been there virtually since I was old enough to grow it, 18, 19 years old. I've always had it. I've never shaved it off. I grew up, when I was growing up, there was a lot of the kids I went to school with were involved in drugs and pot and partying and things like that. And I probably looked more like that type of person than they did in some ways, and yet I never got involved with it. I was always too busy, from the time I was 15 years old, I was building cars and racing cars and things. Never had time for that stuff. I'm very thankful for that now, but I always stayed busy with racing and cars and working of some sort. And yet I've always probably had more, a lot. I know people have thought, back then it was hippies, called me a hippie, and people thought that that's what I looked like, and yet it's hard to really explain. I look the opposite of what I am, I guess. I don't know. I suppose it maybe goes back to that rebellious part of me. I just don't put up with anything if I don't think it's right. And like you say, whether it's track officials, whether it's the promoter, whether it's other racers, I don't put up with it. I fight it till, I don't always win, but I fight it till it's done, until there's just nothing left to fight about.
Here's a fight Jasmer waged in Nashville, Tennessee, when he disputed a disqualification call against his truck.
Okay, the question is going to be, watch the tire closer to the camera. Does it touch the car he's going over? It doesn't look like he does to me. He tried to crawl his way back on.
As you can see right now, our TNT officials all looking around the tape right now, and Rod Liptow's there. And what they're looking at is the timing tape from that last run of Liptow where he was DQ'd.
Well, a decision was made by a track official that affected USA-1. The owner of that truck, Everett Jasper, standing with me right now. Everett, your feelings on the call?
I'm so angry I'm shaking right now. I've never seen a run like this. It's the third time in a month we've had bad calls made on us. I've got a real major problem. I've got a driver, I've got crew members who are being affected by these cheating calls, and I'm not going to put up with it.
I fight for myself. I fight for the other racers. I believe, in sincerity, I believe that I fight for what's good for the monster truckers as a whole. And a lot of times I've spent probably the last year and a half fighting for some things that at this point I almost wish I hadn't. I wish I had been out building new trucks and getting, I've lost 9-10 months because I've been fighting for some things that I think are for the good of the monster truck sport.
The rivalry on the racetrack between USA-1 and Bigfoot is legendary. But the rivalry goes way back to the late 1970s when Jasmer idolized Bigfoot founder Bob Chandler and his blue Ford that got it all started. Today, Jasmer and Chandler respect one another, but disagree on several fronts, particularly on Bigfoot's high-tech advances in the sport. Here's Bob Chandler.
Everett and I are a lot alike in fact, the mechanical things of building trucks. He can build a dynamite truck. I can build a dynamite truck, I think. That's probably where our parallel ideas change, because from that point, he likes drag racing. I like a variety of events. I think my truck can do the drag racing. I think it can do obstacles. I know it can do any other type of event that the trucks have done over the years. Everett is really pushed for straight line drag racing only.
I feel that I can build any kind of truck I want, but I don't think I'm going to have anybody to race with if I go out and build a truck that nobody can race with, because even those that'll keep trying, eventually they're going to burn out. They're going to either go broke because they can't win, or they're just going to lose the drive.
So Jasmer believes that Bigfoot may ruin the sport if its high-tech trucks continue to get faster and faster. Is this just sour grape, or is it Jasmer's competitive nature? Or is Bigfoot upset about getting whipped by USA-1 in 1988? Here's Chandler.
Everett's very competitive. In fact, he and I are both very competitive. TNT had a rule set up 6 months ago that required everybody to drop down in size of cubic inch motors to a 500 cubic inch. That was their maximum size, starting about a month ago. We're supposed to have that size limit. Everett Jasmer runs a 572 cubic inch motor and has 5 backups. About a week before the rule went into effect, Everett convinced TNT to change the rule to fit Everett. There's a lot of guys out there that have changed the motors and spent a lot of money, including me, to downsize the engine to be competitive. And all of a sudden the rule got changed. I think it's unfair.
Jasmer's reputation for fighting for what he says is the good of the sport obviously has set USA-1 back. He shoulders the blame for 1989. He could have been racing a new truck, competitive with Bigfoot, instead of spending time fighting the system.
Sometimes I wonder about that myself. I lose a lot of ground fighting. Sometimes I say to myself, I should just quit fighting and go out and look out for number one and forget about it. Something inside of me keeps preventing me from doing that. And I really sincerely believe that down the road it's going to pay off. But yes, I've proved it. I've just wasted 9-10 months of my life fighting. And I could have had a new truck done last year and been racing. I could have had another new truck done this year. But I've been fighting the system. I don't know why that is. It's something, even when I tell myself not to, I end up doing it anyway.
You can bet that Everett Jasmer, Rod Litzow, and Steve Wilkie will return to the glory days of 1988. They'll battle Bigfoot to get there. For Army Armstrong, I'm Scott Douglas. It's been a pleasure bringing you USA-1, America's monster truck.
It's East versus West when the Yanks take on the A's in Major League Baseball action Sunday afternoon